Heidi ho, and welcome to this edition of At the Table with Kelly Lincoln. I am your host, Kelly Lincoln, and I'm coming to you today live from outside of Eli's Essentials here in New York City. So you're going to hear some wind and some background noises because I'm sitting in the open air and it's kind of cold outside. And it's easier to sound like you're talking to yourself when you are talking to yourself when you're sitting outside. People don't look at you as oddly. In fact, they don't look at you at all. On today's show, I'm going to talk about shit that I thought I wasn't going to talk about last week, but due to circumstances within my control, I didn't quite get it together. That's the joy of being attention deficit with, or as I call it, non-linear creativity, and being so distracted or having so many things you want to talk about that you can't focus on the ones that you can't focus. So that's what's going on. This has been a good week for me. I went to yesterday with a friend of mine. We will go to the Metropolitan Museum every Friday, or almost every Friday, and wander around the halls looking at all the really cool exhibits. And yesterday we spent 2 hours at least in one of the current exhibitions on surrealism, and oh my God, that was just an amazing, fabulous exhibit, where you discover that most of us, when we are introduced to surrealism, are introduced to it primarily from the perspective of Salvador Dali or Picasso. And this exhibit shows it as being a worldwide phenomenon. Like, for example, in Japan, it was considered so subversive that the surrealist artists there were surveilled, and they were equating surrealism to communism. The American Chicago movement, a great number of European surrealists emigrated to Mexico in the 40s, primarily from. So you never knew that Frida Kahlo was a surrealist. That was kind of interesting to discover, and you can just see that several of the surrealists were heavily influenced by Hieronymus Bosch. A fabulous. If you're in New York City and you got the time, you better have the time. I really, really recommend going to the Metropolitan to see this exhibit. There are tone poems, visual film, besides photographs, besides the paintings, and it's just a remarkable exhibit. And if you can afford to support your local museum, do so. It's well worth the investment. I splurged on a membership to the Met, and all I got to say is that I have paid for it several times over, but just how many times I have gone to the museum. It's well worth supporting the arts community. Also, support your local artists, buy their artwork, keep them going, because it's what's important. What else is happening? Oh yes, Donald Trump and his I'm saying his name. Donald Thwimp and his new social media platform, which is essentially a pump and dump, goes along with the joy of motor scooters going by. Have fun with this one, Justice. Or was it? Oh yeah. The new social media platform that is a copious trademark, violation of a new public license, because they ripped off a platform called Mastodon, completely ripped it off to the point where, and then stripped everything regarding Mastodon off of it, which is in violation of the Mastodon license, to make it look like it was a completely new platform. And people looked into the HTML and found references to Mastodon in it, so they're in trouble. Also, the media group that the SPAC invested in is a pump and dump scheme. You can tell by how quickly the value of the company's stock rose. In fact, the other day, trading was halted on the digital media group because of the volatility of it, and it's back trading up. So it's a pump and dump. So all those people that once it hits a certain dollar amount, you're going to see huge sell-off by all the initial investors, leaving all the smaller investors holding the bag, so to speak. Because they're going to make all the money and they're going to have it sold off before the poor bastards in the pit get a chance to make any money off it. It's the same thing with the Trump digital coin. It flat out states that it's for PAC and that most of it's going to go to Donald Trump. And you can buy Trump coin merch with it too, but that's about it. Currently worth about 15 cents. And on a funny note, I actually, when I called it out as being a scam, the bot that automatically retweets anything with Trump coin in it retweeted my tweet. So thank you, Trump coin bot. What's going on today? I'm going to touch a little bit briefly on the site, the location shooting that occurred the other day on the set of the Alec Baldwin film, low budget film, Rust. And yes, Baldwin is a producer, but it looks like that in lieu of a hefty fee, since it is a SAG low budget, which means it has a budget of a few $1 million. Got a producer credit for it. I looked at the film's in IMDb, which is the Internet Movie Database, and the unit production managers happen to be part of the money firm. And the money firm, the people that are backing it, the executive producers, saying, "Oh, we were never informed of the problems on the set and the safety issues on the set." Which, if a couple of their people are acting as unit production managers, directors, they were informed of the issue, so they got a huge issue on that. And according to Variety. I will look at Variety and the LA Times, because especially Variety, since they are an industry-based publication, that the assistant directors informed everybody on the set that the gun was cold, which meant it was not loaded. There was nothing in it. It was an empty gun, which is why you had Miss Hutchinson and the director and everybody so close to see, because they were told the gun was empty so they could continue working on setting up shots. And in fact, I believe she was actually setting up the shot when the gun went off, because also according to Variety, when the gun discharged, it was the second time it had been pulled from the holster, which means there was an issue. And also, according to Variety, it was the third such accidental discharge of a firearm on that set. 2 stunt performers had accidental discharges of their prop firearms. Previously, you had crew walking out because of the safety issues on the set. Apparently, the armorer is the daughter of a more experienced armorer. So how that's going to play into the investigation, I have no idea. And according to everybody, they're saying everybody was told the gun was not loaded. There was so somebody did not do their job when falling down, and some folks are blaming the AD on that. but it is, I don't know if part of his job, of an AD's job description, is to double check to make sure that the gun is, that firearms are actually not loaded, that all the chambers are empty. But I can only imagine the horror that everybody is going through, particularly the Hutchinson family. I just don't know what else to say. But like I said, check if you want some less hysterical information. Check out the articles in the LA Times and Variety, especially Variety.com. You're listening to the 523 Happy Hour with Kelly Lincoln here on NetRootsRadio.com, broadcasting live and in person from the corner of East 87th and Lexington Avenue in New York City while she eats her lunch, consisting of homemade chicken soup. Very good. Like I said, it's chilly outside today, cold outside today. I did not bring a heavy enough jacket, but it's definitely soup weather. And I'm sitting out here in New York, so you've got all this street noise. It's actually kind of quiet today. We'll find out later. We'll find out if, so many things going on today, this week, this year, this month. Or sometimes you just want to talk about stuff. My good and loving people. Yesterday, the weather here in New York was nice. It was 66 degrees all day long and into the evening. And today it is, 54 degrees Fahrenheit and cloudy. So, I've got, and with the weather changing, climate change? What climate change? The West Coast, the burn-scarred regions are now looking at a double weather whammy of a bomb cyclone and a major epic water pipeline, rain pipeline, which used to be called the Pineapple Express, but they're not calling that anymore because we have to be more scientific about it, rather than colorful and descriptive. So it's going to be watching the weather out in the West. It's going to be like interesting and scary. And all I got to say is climate change. What climate change? It's all one. All of my playlists are back on my laptop at home, so you're not getting any of the cool shit that I normally play. Which of course everybody is very happy about. I'm just like blithering right now, which is what I do best. Let me check some stuff here. Go into my settings. Let's get some of those. Let's go a little bit there to do some equalizing on the mic. Hopefully you're not getting, like I said, it's so many things you want to say, but you don't know how to put it into words. One of my pet peeves on the Twitter machine, and this was, thank you, Scooter Man, was brought up in a Twitter post that Twitter skews towards the right. And I have to say, that's partially on the fault of those of us on the left who insist on amplifying the bullshit from the right. So, if there's something you disagree with or like infuriates you, don't retweet it because you're only amplifying that. Don't amplify the right. Don't retweet it. Don't retweet Donald Trump. Don't retweet, yes, he's pissing you off, but don't retweet it. Don't give the right-wing algorithm that power. Don't give them your power, because that is what we do every time we retweet these purposeful outrages. And again, I'm going to recommend checking out the writings of George Lakoff and other cognitive linguists, and talking about how this is amplification, how we are aiding and abetting the propaganda. We are helping them win the propaganda war. Same thing with MSNBC and CNN talking about these right wingers, never talking about the leftist, the progressive, democratic policies and agendas, or talking about what's in the bring back bring back better agenda, what the spending is going to be, not just the dollar amount, but what it goes for. We don't talk about that. We only talk about the dollar amount, which plays right into the right wing. Look at how expensive this is. Well, if we can afford these trillions of dollars for defense, we can afford trillions of dollars for infrastructure. In fact, infrastructure should be part and parcel of defense. We need an educated public. We need roads that are in good repair. We need highways and freeways in good repair. If we want to bring in, trucks and goods, and our supply chain is part of defense. If we can't get goods from point A to point B, we can't get military vehicles from point A to B, and that's actually why the highway system was built, was for the national defense. Education should be part of is infrastructure and defense. Living wage jobs, national defense, because the more satisfied people are, the less likely they are to become radicalized. Poor people tend to become radicalized. Ignorant people tend to become radicalized. All you have to do is remember what Thwimp said: I loathe the poorly educated. Why? Because they're easy to manipulate and radicalize. So we have to take a look at that. We cannot be afraid of calling a turd. And we tend to we've entered into this age of equality and not being mean and nasty and calling people names, but sometimes name calling is absolutely necessary. A turd is a turd is a turd. And we have to start using it. It wasn't a riot on Jan 6. It was an insurrection. It was an attempt to overthrow the government of the United States of America, and it's still ongoing. I said this years ago. People like the Kochs, they don't need the federal government to get their agenda through. All they need to do is take over the local, the city, the county, then the state, and from there they've got everything. And if you take a look at what is going on around the country, that is exactly what is going on. You take over the city, you take over the school boards, you take over the county. You can control everything within that district. You control everything. From the county, you go take on the state. You can start controlling the state. And from there, you can do whatever the hell you want, because the federal government at that point no longer matters. The surrealists were well aware of that fact. In fact, I tried to get a picture of this one quote regarding it, and it came out too, because I was not wearing my glasses when I took the shot. It came out fuzzy and not legible, so I deleted it. But it's still in my, it's deleted, but it's still on my phone. So you have to risk the offense to get your point across. And the problem today is, especially is the punching, is who do you punch? Comedy works when you punch up. What is going on today is that you have to punch down, because the base, because that is what is going, unless you punch up on their attitude of being better than you, which is elite. I am more patriotic than you. That is an elitist thing. They're calling themselves elitists. The mayoral race here in New York was between Eric Adams and Curtis Sliwa. Sliwa went after Adams for being quote-unquote an elite, because he's got a condominium. Come on, Sliwa. you're living in a condo or a co-op. You're not renting in the Bronx. You're not still living where you grew up. And going. I mean, I did not watch the debates because I cannot bear Sliwa's attitude, and I have my own problems with the Guardian Angels. In fact, I haven't seen them at all. Crime is on the rise, but I don't see any Guardian Angels on the subways, patrolling the subways like they used to do. They now need you now have to make an appointment, I guess. Or still around. I don't see them. So now they're just props for him. I founded the Guardian Angels. Yeah, you did some good shit, but where are they now? It's all about him, and I remember him. I mean, he made some bank when he and Ron Kuby had their talk show on WABC here. Polar opposites politically, ideologically, but to hear Sliwa call a former police officer, basically a coward because of X, Y, or Z. It's like, please. He's pandering. I mean, the only, there's some issues about, Eric Adams' residency here. Like, does he actually live here? He's got a place out in Jersey. Is the apartment that he lives in Brooklyn his, or is it his son? Sometimes, does he actually live here? That's the whole thing, He could probably come up with his name on a lease going back a decade and they would still say he doesn't live here in New York. I mean, that, silent, But we have to become active, not just in the community, in our neighborhoods, but in the city body politic. We have to be, because get involved in our neighborhoods, we can, repair things there, and from there we get involved in the city, and
let's get back to
in the politics, and from there we can, go to the county level. We need to get off of our butts, get out from behind our keyboards, because we are now the keyboard warriors we mocked during the Bush years and in the Trump years. We need to become more active, not just, we're having a march, but every day out. We need to become more vocal on the internet. We need to launch our progressive Twitch channels, YouTube channels, internet radio channels, because we have essentially ceded all of this to the right wing. I keep talking about this, and people saying, but we have our O'Donnell, our Rachel Maddow. Yeah, but we don't need crazy people. Yes, we do. We need people to echo their message. Because when you go up on Twitch or YouTube or even Blog Talk, you see conservatives echoing the conservative message, the right-wing message. Go up to Blog Talk Radio. You will not find you will be hard-pressed to see a progressive liberal talk show host on their front page. It will all be conservative. When I log into Twitch, I am seeing more and more conservative Twitchers, streamers, with large numbers of people listening and following in. On the more liberal side, progressive side, not so much. InfoWars, it's mind-boggling to me that this is going on, that we are being that laid back, and you wonder why progressive money isn't being poured into progressive radio. It's because of this. It's because we don't actually support the progressive movement by amplifying the progressive message, except through, here, send us money. I've had to sign off on numerous progressive mailing lists because of the number of begging emails that I get. And these hysterical, subject line emails. We're really shitty at messaging because we don't think the actual message and how we say it matters. you know, we tend to speak in what sounds like loftier terms because, well, just because we tend to just have a bigger vocabulary, and so that makes us sound elite. I don't know, but it's concerning that the way we talk is perceived as talking down to people. And that's why Thwimp is so popular, because he talks like they talk. You know, and people are mocking Biden because he talks to people and not at people. People are like, on the right, are having attacks of the vapors because, oh my God, Joe Biden uses naughty language, uses swears. Oh my goodness gracious me, how dare. But, you know, they've got their puritanical knickers in a twist, but they have no issues with the blatant bigotry and racism from their own. And you got to remember that hate is just an outgrowth of fear. You hate what you fear. If you're afraid of something, you hate it. So you remember that, folks. You hate what you fear. And I gotta say, it's maybe a little problematic. I don't know, but we need to start thinking about, you know, getting our own streaming channels going on, and do it on a regular basis. I'm a one to talk. You can listen to the late night morning talk show either on audio at netrootsradio.com, or tune into the live Twitch Facebook live stream. Tonight at midnight Eastern time, 1 a.m. Atlantic time. Facebook.com/Blatherfest, netrootsradio.com for the 1 hour audio, and twitch.tv/netrootsradio. Both the live streams go, we go on beyond the 1 hour radio stream. So tune in, join us. We're fun. You can see me screw up Wirecast. Like us on the Facebooks. You can also like this show on Facebook. It is facebook.com/masterless people. And it's all about what we do best here on Netroots Radio, and trying our best. And excuse me while I eat some more. I also want to apologize for the slurping sound. The microphone is right by. I'm using a Bluetooth microphone.
They don't come back at me now because I'm working.
And it's right below my chin, so I'm probably scraping the spool for my clothing across the microphone, even with the windscreen on. But again, we need to start amplifying our message, not the message of the right wing. Which means we have to take the information we get and amplify it. We need to stop talking about what shitheads Manchin and Sinema are. We know that already. We need to start talking about why the John Lewis Voting Rights Acts must be passed. We need, in every corner that we can of the internet, ignore the bullshit. Amplify the good stuff. Amplify while the Build Back, the $1 trillion Build Back Better is important, and what that supports. We need to talk about what is in that bill. No, I'm not doing it right now because I'm at work. I'm sitting outside on my lunch break, talking with you about this. Use your Facebook one. get this. Done to give people the information they need to understand to support it. Most likely when I get home, I will do a Twitch/Facebook live stream about this. Because I think it's that important. That we understand and know what is in these bills and just not, it's this much money. It's, I mean, it's okay. One of the things Joe Manchin wants to get rid of is the child tax credit and put a cap on the income of those who are eligible for it, and make sure that grandparents who are on a fixed income cannot get that tax credit who are taking care of their grandchildren. That's bullshit. That is cold and callous and directly affects the people in his constituents in West Virginia. He doesn't give a shit. Kristen Sinema does not give a shit, so she should not even be talked. She should not be given any airtime. Marjorie Taylor Greene should not be given any airtime. These crazy people should not be given any amplification. She does what she does because she knows she is going to get airplay. She's going to get amplification from us. Lauren Boebert does the same thing. It's all about the trolling. I mean, if you want to go after Sinema, you got to ask, how come, even when she was in the House of Representatives, she never voted. She voted once and she voted present. She's never done anything except collect money, make money off of her job. She's always been bought and paid for. We know that. You should know that. People who voted for her should have known better. They knew who she was before they elected her senator. It's not even her entire net worth, right? It's just a portion of her net worth. So that's what we need to do. We need to start speaking up and speaking out, and not, and support the John Lewis Voting Rights Act verbally. Live tweet, go on your Facebook, do a Facebook Live in support of it. Twitch stream it, create a YouTube page and stream it. Talk about why this is important, why, the grandchildren of the people who threatened and spat on 5-year-old Ruby Bridges are still pissed off. What are they afraid of? These are the grandchildren of those people who are upset about civil rights theory, who don't want you to know the history of America as far as civil rights goes. They don't want, like I've said this before, these grandchildren of the people that spat on Ruby Bridges are upset about her book because the white people aren't redeemed at the end. They don't want you to learn about the brutal lynching of Emmett Till. They don't want you to know about the massive, the pogrom that was the Tulsa race riot. They don't want you to know about Frederick Douglass, or W.E.B. Du Bois, or the Underground Railroad and Harriet Tubman, or the Emancipation Proclamation. Hell, when they talk about voting, they don't even tell you that in colonial New Jersey, free blacks had the right to vote. And in some colonies, Catholics couldn't vote, in some colonies, Jews couldn't vote. They don't teach you that about voting rights. That is not taught in school because, oh my God, you'll make the landowners unhappy. So get up, get vocal. Say something, do it, get outraged. And I'm hammering this home, and I know I'm repeating myself. But we must amplify the progressive voices. Support shows like Nicole Sandler, who is on air every day. She has a radio program. She live streams, does YouTube and Twitch, and you've got other progressive streamers. Support them, create your own supportive progressive stream. Do your actual research, which is more than just taking which for the right wing is just taking a Twitter screen grab and using that as your evidence. Something looks odd, just don't retweet a headline. Go and read the article so so you know what so you know if what the headline says is actually what the article is about, because headlines on Twitter and are all clickbait articles. They are all clickbait headlines. They want you to click on it for the eyeballs. It may have actually nothing or very little to do with the actual story. And then comment on it. Or if you don't have a comment on it, just retweet that article. But don't amplify the right wing. Don't give them your power. Don't give away your power to them. So, that's all I got to say about that. And I'm going to cut the short because I am now, it's like, I've got to go now. I'm repeating myself, which is something I do when I'm on my Adderall. I do that all the time. So anyway, I'm going to say goodbye. Take care. I'll be talking with you later tonight. Remember to tune in tonight at midnight for the late night morning talk show with Kelly and Ricky here on netrootsradio.com. Do-do-do-do-do-do.